Okay, so you might be asking yourself, why is this guy standing here in front of a time trial bike if the video is about road bikes? Well, when we're looking at bikes, whether it's a road bike or a time trial bike, and I'm helping people to select the appropriate bike, what we generally talk about is functionality. And by functionality I mean, what sort of events are you going to be doing on the bike, what sort of distances are you going to be riding, how are you going to carry your nutrition, how are you going to carry your hydration, how are you going to carry your spares, that sort of thing. And from a functionality point of view with time trial bikes and with Di2, you can have two different bikes with Di2, and some of them have shifters. You'll find all of the time trial bikes with Di2 will have shifters at the end of the extensions, but not all of the time trial bikes with Di2 will have shifters on the base bar next to the brakes. Now, what's the benefit of having the shifter here? Well, the shifter here means that when we're, for example, riding in traffic, or maybe when we're climbing, we're not always going to have our hands here, we're going to have our hands down here on the base bar, and we have the ability to change gear here rather than having to move our hands from here up to the TT shifters and shift gears here. So again, this is around functionality, which will lead me into the functionality around Di2 on a road bike and Di2 on road bikes for triathlon. So what we have here is a road bike, and I have to applaud Canyon. This is a 3 times extra small a Canyon Ultimate CF SLX is what they call it, and it runs 650C wheels, and this bike is for a lady. She's very petite, and I'm a big fan of 650C wheels for ladies that are very small. Anyway, that's an aside. This bike has Di2. The lady that's riding this bike is doing triathlon and she's doing long rides, etc. She wants to have the ability to go into this aero position for a number of reasons. Number one, obviously, because she's doing triathlon, but number two, it gives her somewhere else to go to when she's riding long. She can get the weight off her hands, put her elbows on the pads and the hands out here. Generally, when you buy a road bike with Di2, you just get your shifters here. But when we're doing triathlon, for example, we're going to spend most of our time in this position. So for most people, what they'll do is they'll have to come off the shifters down to the hoods here to change gear. What we've done is, as you can see, we've fitted some clip-on aero bars. These are some Profile Design T1 Plus. These are carbon bars. And what we've done is we've swapped out the 3-port junction box for a 5-port junction box, and we put some 2-button shifters here. So now we have the functionality of being able to change gear at the end of the extension and at the hood. So this is really the ultimate in shifting ability for a road bike for triathlon. So what's the cost involved? Well, it doesn't matter whether it's a new bike or whether you've got an existing bike, road bike with Di2. There's really just a couple of, well, there's 3 components, shall we say, or 4 components. Obviously you're going to need some aero bars, that's number one. Probably maybe running some aero bars already. And then we've got the, so aero bars, you know, I'm a big fan of Profile Design, cost those $240. We then need a 5-port junction box, and we need some, I like the 2-button Di2 shifters, and the reason for that is, number one, they add some extra length. Number two, we can bring the shifters on the inside and just rest our thumbs, so we can rest our hands on the end of the extension. I'm not a fan of the synchro shifters, they don't add any length to the extensions. So the 5-port junction box and the Di2 shifters allow, say, $400, and then you've got some work from a mechanic actually installing these. So maybe an hour or 2 hours to do this, so let's say let's call it $550 for this type of functionality on your road bike.